So Jacob, do you actually, I mean, you have a B2B product, right? Do you actually promote the technology, or is the technology running in the background, this NFT token? Because I think the further we get to not even mentioning that this is an NFT, the closer we are to adoption. So.
Yeah, so I run it in the back end. It's not something I go out of my way to advertise. Like, I'm not going out saying, hey, this is an NFT. I rather say that this is a token. Part of it has to do with just the stigma around the word NFT. When people hear NFT, they think, oh, those scam monkey pictures. I'm not doing anything with that. I'm with software licensing. I don't want any association with it. So it's very much, like you said, something that's hiding in the background. People could use my product without even knowing that it is an NFT. All they'll know is that they have to connect their wallet, or maybe even we can abstract that even further, so that way they just don't even know that there's tokens being used in the back end. And I think that's something we're gonna see with a lot of other projects as we get into the future, is that they can hide the fact that they are using these tokens, that it's a Web3 thing. And I think that's what we're sort of gonna drive how we get this into the market, how we keep this getting into the hands of new people.
You said the buzzword JPEG monkey picture. So, however, we're still using tools that are for crypto natives, such as Discord. A lot of people hate Discord. A lot of people can't use it. This is not going to bring them on board. I hate this word, on board the next 1 billion to Web3. So how do we go around these technical issues?
If I may, I think this is, if you look back at the early days of the internet, it didn't used to always be that you could type in your URL bar, your like google.com, and get to it. Before we had domains, people had to know the IP address of what you were going to. Right now, with where we are in Web3, it's like looking back at that again. We're talking to people about how you go ahead and you make your wallet, you go and mint your NFTs. We need to figure out how we make it as simple as going and opening up your browser and typing in a URL to interact with anything Web3 before we could really talk about the issue of how do we onboard the next 1 billion users. Like, that's an unrealistic thing until we get it as simple as it is with the rest of the web.
Yeah, totally agree with that. And I think,
if I may, like, I don't really have much experience in the gaming side of this. I can only speak from my experience as a gamer. And you mentioned Minecraft to begin with. One of the things a lot of gamers hate is when games get filled with too many microtransactions that just ruins the experience. And what we're seeing right now when games are entering the Web3 space is it's just increasing the amount of microtransactions going on. They're turning anything possible into a token. And suddenly, if you want to play the game, even if you're not buying something, you need to pay gas fees to do anything. And we touched on Minecraft earlier. Mojang, the company that's behind Minecraft, has banned the implementation of any type of blockchain-based applications being integrated into their game. So I think what we're seeing right now is we have these existing Web 2 games, and the response from gamers on how they want to interact with their games, and the reaction to seeing NFTs is, we don't want to touch this, we don't want to ruin our games. And what we've seen happening with the Web 2 companies is they are responding to that correctly by banning it. The only way that we're going to see this change is if Web 3 games actually start to get traction beyond that. That will naturally attract gamers. But yeah, it's a question of if they can do that, or if it will be driven by the Web 2 games naturally adjusting to demand.
But yeah, going back to sort of the title of this panel, like how do we solve real problems, aside from your own individual projects, let's not get too deep there. Where do you think we can, for example, supply chain management, there's a lot we can do. Where do you think the real gold is for NFTs? Where do you think the future lies, Jacob?
So I think the future of it lies in what people would call very boring things. I think it is within licensing, credentials, and identification. Like, quickly polling the audience, by a show of hands, how many people have ever had to verify your identity online for any purpose? So a lot of people, and you probably know that that is a very long and annoying process. You have to take pictures of your ID, you have to record yourself doing all these things, and it just takes time and it's annoying. Well, something like NFTs could let us do is, if you were issued by your local government a tokenized version of your identity, you can then connect your wallet, sign a transaction, and they can check the token, proving that it is you, and verify you instantly. Stuff like this is what I think is really going to drive the next adoption of it. Like, it's not going to be flashy like monkey pictures or anything related to gaming that will get people excited about it, but it's going to have a lot of value behind it that people can understand. It's not going to be very speculative.
So I guess do we have any advice for anyone that wants to start their own sort of NFT project? Apart from don't do it, no, joking. Absolutely not. Yeah, so like say if anyone in the audience is just starting out and saying I mean, there's a lot of legal implications. You just talked about the court case. What would you recommend someone do?
What I would say is, like, one of the first questions was, how do we do better? If anyone goes right now and opens up OpenSea, you're going to see all of the same things again. Insert name here, Yacht Club, or the same, like, style of profile picture artwork that everyone hates. The way that if you're getting started now, what you should do is do something different. Don't try to copy what everyone's doing right now, the same style of NFT communities, gathering people, getting on a bunch of hype, talking about how you're going to introduce some obscure utility later. Look into what a real problem is that you could solve using technology and then go ahead and apply it.
Okay, we're just gonna like wrap it up. I guess like with passing or closing words, are you bullish for the future of NFTs?
I would say yes. As has probably been evident, I'm very critical of the way that NFTs currently exist, and I guess that being in a bear market as we are right now, we're seeing a lot of the kind of bullshit versions of this disappearing. So I'm bullish on the future of this because I think that we're going to see the sort of real use cases emerge, seeing people using it for ways that we haven't thought about before, seeing more unique areas being explored with them. So I'm very optimistic looking to the future.